My kiddo is a toddler and my Mill has lost her mind. The first issue was Mill asking baby to call her mama. She asked Phil and my husband before mentioning it to me. Her reasoning was I've always been called mama by my husband. We all agreed on Nana and she has slipped up multiple times with mama. Second issue was during visits Mill would take baby and try to keep her, didn't want to give her back. This resulted in me just grabbing my baby and automatically keeping my baby in my arms. Mill glares at others who hold baby. Third issue, Mill during visits always demands to feed baby. She will pull the high chair to her chair, effectively physically blocking me. I started saying I will feed her and then Mill hovers trying to wipe baby's face around my body or dictating what I use to wipe baby's face. No. Don't use a paper towel. I have a warmed wet bath towel for her. No. Fourth, she keeps slipping up and calling my baby girl by my husband's name. Super awkward and weird. Fifth, during visits Mill whisks baby away and will change her diaper. She'll say she needs a change. And quickly, as fast as she can, walk away with her. These diaper changes will take 40 minutes usually because she uses the opportunity to hide alone with baby. Sixth, she told me that she almost started tearing up her wedding gown to sew baby's baptismal gown and then said she just needed baby's measurements and thought she should check to see if I had a gown bought already. I reminded her that she knows we are not Baptist and do not practice any religion and that we already told her several times that baby will not be baptized. Yesterday she pointedly asked my husband if he believes in God. Seventh, during a visit Mill put baby's entire foot in her mouth. It was disgusting and weird and my husband saw it and said, "Mom, what are you doing? Did you just put her foot in your mouth?" Mill stuttered and couldn't come up with a decent reply. Husband has mostly stood up for me although he also thinks I'm a bit harsh on Mill. We have a visit today and I'm planning on standing my ground more. I will feed my baby. I will do the diaper change, etc. How do I remind Mill that she is not this baby's mom? My earlier post today went over details of my Mill. Basically no boundaries, calling herself mama, disappearing with baby, putting baby's foot in her mouth, saying she was going to sew a baptismal gown when we told her we are not baptizing. Well, for those of you that commented, I wanted to update. We went over tonight and overall it was fairly calm. I changed baby's diaper and Mill tried to jump and I can do that. And I shut her down and said no thanks. She followed to coo at baby and kiss at her during the diaper change and to try to keep the baby's attention on her. During dinner, baby only ate potatoes and Mill immediately said, "Can I give her more potatoes?" I said no and I could tell she was mad, but I do expect baby to try veggies and meat that were on her plate. Sorry, but toddlers are picky as it is. I'm not going to encourage pickiness. Woman shrugging, Mill at one point said she needs to get baby's measurements for an apron. Doesn't seem weird, until I remember that when she first mentioned that baptismal dress she wanted to sew, she needed measurements then. So, an apron? For a toddler? Sure. The creme de la creme of the night was Mill asking, "Can I pick up baby from daycare on Wednesday?" I said why? And she stuttered something about spending time. I replied no. She is adjusting to a new routine at daycare and we keep her on a schedule. No. Granted, we did have them pick her up once when we had work conflicts, but that was an emergency. Wins, I cared for my child and pushed back. Lose, the fact that she thinks it's okay to ask to take my kid from daycare, which only makes me want to remove them as emergency contacts. This is so ridiculous. My Mill used to cut hair. For women. She only seems to know one cut for boys. The other cut is just buzzing it all off. To be fair, I don't know if she has ever been asked to do another style, but I do know she has never been asked to cut my nephew's hair after the first time a few years ago. His family takes him to a salon and pays for one, even though he lives 5 minutes away from her and see her literally 5 times a week. Recently there was an issue with my Mill cutting my niece's hair, without permission. When my husband and I spoke, he felt bad for Mill, because Bill and Sil yelled at Mill and made her apologize. I told him I understood Bill and Sil, because I would be furious if she did that with our son. My husband's response was I wouldn't get mad because she'd do a good job. I explained that she acted like a parent and that's not okay, and he made the comment about her forgetting her kids don't want her acting like a parent. So we've had the conversation about her cutting our son's hair a few times. He's definitely going to need one soon. After her overstep with our niece, I didn't feel comfortable with it. I also realized there was, based on her personality, a good chance she would ignore what we request, claiming his hair needed evening out or something. My husband is of the opinion it would be ducked up if we didn't let her do his first cut, since that's literally what she used to do. I'm worried it will open the door to more boundary stomping, and that it's more ducked up to let her do it, since his brother literally just had to correct her behavior on this. I told him last time I would compromise. If we let her cut his hair, we needed to be 100% clear up front it would be a one-time request, and she could not cut his hair again without our express permission. My husband is upset, claiming it was unnecessarily confrontational, because Bill already talked to her and he doesn't think she'd do something like that again. She's not great at listening to us to begin with, and she's used to getting away with a lot more with our nieces and nephews. She provides daycare for all the cousins for free, so she doesn't tend to have consequences for ignoring parent wishes. We finally got her to start, sometimes, listening to us, but clearly is still looking for loopholes, and I want to avoid giving one. Should I just let her cut his hair with no clear warnings? My daughter, 3, has long hair. It gets these matted little tangled spots so bad during the summer, and she fights me tooth and nail when I try to get the tangles out. She lives primarily with her father and her GMA back in my hometown, because I couldn't bring myself to pull my oldest son from his friends to come here, since it was temporary for us anyways. Her father doesn't seem to brush her hair, I'm guessing? Because every time I get her, she is sent to me like this. I get all of it out one time, and then the entire time she's here it's perfectly fine every night. I feel like they don't brush it after her bath. Not sure. Every time I have sent pictures and asked questions, I get responses like, oh, it's because she is a wild sleeper, etc. So this is also a old XBF issue too. Where can I post about that, lol? So anyways, he stopped at 2 different hair stores today and got about $80 worth of hair product to try and conquer these awful tangles and matted hair spots. I put her in the tub, did a pre-detangler, after that I did some Shea Moisture Mask, and then after that I used the thick Paul Mitchell detangler, then washed it and towel dried it out a hair mask, and again let it sit, sectioned it off best I could and started on it. Of course she was crying. I was telling her she needed to be still and let mama get the knots out, and once it was done she wouldn't need to worry about it again. My Mill comes home. She comes into the kitchen and says, what is going on with my baby right now? What is your mom doing to you? And picks her up and takes her off into her room. I said, are you going to get the tangles out? She said, I'll try, and walked off. She gets a comb and starts doing it while shooting me nasty looks. I feel like she undermined me in front of my daughter. The one she whines about coming to visit for more than 3 days at a time. It's like she does it to say, haha, I can get the knots out and you can't, or she tries to make me feel like I'm mistreating my child somehow. I walked off. Because had I said what I wanted to, which was put my daughter down, I can handle this, thank you, it would have caused a huge fight with my kids here. What do I do about my Mill doing things like this all the time while my kids are here? This is just one instance. I feel as if she is trying to make me feel like I don't know what I'm doing and I'm hurting my baby. Also, where is a Reddit for me to ask about what would you do as far as her dad and GMA constantly sending her to me like this and not properly taking care of her hair? It drives me insane. Edit. For those who didn't read the pumping pic posts, I stay with my Mill currently until we save money to get our own place. Economy blows. Made the mistake of coming here rather than taking up my best friend's offer to stay with her, but she lives in Maryland. Our last place, the landlord decided to sell our place without letting us know because he was taking the rent money we paid and paying his new house mortgage, not the rental one. I've mentioned my mother before in here. My mother is under 5 feet, weighs 300 pounds and 70 years old. About 15 years ago she had one of her knees replaced. Well, now the other one is just bone on bone. Back 15 years ago she was maybe 200 pounds, she could still walk around, albeit not the best, but still did some stuff around the house. When my mom had my older sister, she never lost the weight. 10 years later she became pregnant with me and my twin. She still never lost the weight. She blamed it on the food my dad made. The more time has gone on, the less my mom does. She now is basically bedbound. She relies on my older sister to take care of her and my father, who both have many health issues on their own. My mother's weakness is sugar. She can drink Cokes and sweet tea all day along with any sweet baked goods or chocolate. I've told my mom so many times she needs to lose weight, just 50 pounds would help her tremendously. However, to my mom, her weight has nothing to do with her arthritis. She had this arthritis when she was 150 pounds, so of course her weight is not the reason. Every day for the last 4 days she will text me to ask how I am. I am 13 weeks pregnant with twins, my first pregnancy. But she's not really asking because she wants to know. She wants to tell me how horrible things are for her. How she fell again and hoping her doctor will do knee replacement surgery this month and not wait to lower her A1C down from an 8. Last night she posted online, "Please pray the surgeon will do my surgery sooner than later. This pain is worse than having a baby." It was incredibly random to mention the part about having a baby. The last time she had a baby was almost 40 years ago. However, on that post she got all her friends to sympathize with her and let her play sufferer. My mom loves being the sufferer. One thing she had said on that post too was, "What did I ever do to deserve this pain? You are 200 pounds overweight. That's what you did. I'll bring my twins into this world and they will not know their grandma, who only lives minutes away. She won't come see them. Even if I took them to her, she couldn't even hold them. My twins will know my husband's parents more and they live in another state 6 to 7 months out of the year. I'm just so frustrated."